Thank you all, and good afternoon. Council President LaCava, members of the City Council, City Attorney Ferbert, our dedicated city employees, and my fellow San Diegans. Before I begin, I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge and extend the condolences of our great city to our neighbors in Los Angeles and the surrounding areas. As you know, they continue to battle truly catastrophic wildfires that are devastating communities. And I want to express our city's profound gratitude to all the firefighters and emergency personnel from around the world, including our very own San Diego Fire Rescue crews, who are putting their lives on the line to protect communities. LA, we are with you, we are rooting for you, and please stay safe. My fellow San Diegans, it is an honor to come before you today to deliver my 5th State of the City address as the 37th mayor of our great city. Over the past 4 years, we have worked together to tackle our city's biggest challenges, the ones long ignored, often considered insurmountable, and left unaddressed by past administrations. Together, we have made the bold decisions, confronted the tough issues, and refused to let the obstacles of the past define our future. And in doing so, we have made progress, not always perfect and rarely easy, but progress that has moved San Diego forward. In a normal year, much of this address would be spent highlighting the progress on our 4 major priorities for the city: keep you safe, reduce homelessness, build more housing, and fix the damn roads. And there's certainly plenty to talk about and to celebrate. How crime is down, homicides reduced by 30%, sexual assaults down by 12%, robberies down by 10%, and car thefts down by 20%. How our firefighters, lifeguards, and paramedics responded to an incredible 188,000 emergency calls last year, a new record. How we resurfaced a full quarter of our entire road network in just the last 4 years. And how the city's credit rating increased in June from AA to AA+, the second highest rating available. How we've more than doubled homeless shelter options, and with recent data showing that our efforts are finally turning the tide. But this year, I want to primarily focus on the work ahead. Because while our persistence has yielded many achievements to celebrate, the stark financial realities we face today will be a true test of our resolve. As you know, Measure E, our proposed sales tax measure that the voters of this city considered this past November, did not secure enough support. Its defeat means that we as a city face a $258 million budget deficit this upcoming fiscal year, about 12% of our current $2.1 billion operating budget. This comes on the heels of a $170 million shortfall that we faced last year, which we closed through surgical cuts and one-time measures. While we had hoped that Measure E would give us the ability to finally align our ongoing resources with desired service levels and make big investments in our neighborhood infrastructure needs, as mayor, I've heard and I accept the will of the voters. Instead, we now must find another way to continue delivering on the core priorities that matter most to San Diegans. Doing so with a $250 million budget deficit will be an immense challenge. One that demands responsible stewardship of every dollar and clear-eyed decisions about our priorities. One that will force tough conversations and even tougher decisions by many of us in this room. And that's why today I chose to speak to you not from a stage in a grand theater, but in council chambers right here in San Diego City Hall. Because it is here where the policies that shape our city's future are debated, crafted, and decided. And it is here where these difficult conversations will occur and solutions to this challenge will take shape. So yes, this is an immense challenge that we're facing, but it's also something else, immense opportunity. Opportunity to refocus and reimagine the public work that we do, an opportunity to revisit and reevaluate the services that we provide. I believe that you want a city government that wants the most of what we have, that makes the most of what we have, prioritizes the basics, and delivers results. And in that, we must acknowledge a fundamental truth, that we can no longer do things a certain way simply because that's how they've always been done. The task ahead, as I believe you, the voters, have directed us, is to right-size our city's budget, not just for this year, but for the long term. And it means matching up our resources with our priorities and making hard choices, including reducing or eliminating some city services. And we have already begun this work. I've taken immediate steps to cut spending, freezing all but the hiring for all but the most essential positions, stopping non-essential spending, and making other mid-year adjustments to put us in a better position to start the next fiscal year. I'm conducting a wholesale evaluation of our city's office space leases. Where it's cost beneficial, we will terminate or renegotiate leases and consolidate space to use square footage more efficiently and save taxpayers money. I've also directed city department directors to craft their budgets for next year, not by simply tweaking last year's budget, but totally rethinking their operations to preserve the highest level of service possible within a smaller resource allocation. This approach is really no different from what you would do if your family was facing tough times. We adjust, we get creative, and we make the most of what we have. And I have faith in our city employees to rise to the occasion. Because time and again, they have demonstrated the ability to tackle complex challenges with creativity and with determination. Take housing, for example. A crisis decades in the making that not only threatens our city's economy, but also the very fabric of our community. It has caused many to wonder whether they have a future here. Families have felt pushed out, children are growing up hundreds of miles away from their grandparents, employers are struggling to attract and to retain the talent they need to be successful. If we are going to be a truly great city that all of us can live in, then we have to continue to build more housing, period, point blank, full stop. From my first day in office, I've worked to make this city more pro-housing. I directed our planning director to think boldly and to cut through red tape that slows down construction and drives up costs. Within 6 months, we passed the first of 2 packages of major reforms to make it easier to build a wide range of housing types. We combed through our land development code to clear away unnecessary hurdles. Our development services department delivered on the audacious goal I set in 2 executive orders to speed up housing production, requiring all relevant city departments to review key housing projects in 30 days or less. And I'm here to tell you these measures are working. To date, we've sped up permitting on 33 projects with more than 3,500 new homes, and we have another 3,500 in the pipeline right now. City staff also far exceeded my 30-day mandate for permit review, completing these approvals in an average of just 8 days, when it in the past typically took over 6 months. Now, I'm a bit of a policy nerd, so I recognize policy reforms might be a little boring to you, but the results are incredibly exciting. For about 2 decades, San Diego was permitting on average about 4,300 new homes each year. In 2023, we more than doubled that, permitting almost 10,000 new homes. Preliminary numbers for last year show another 8,500 new homes were permitted, even in the face of high interest rates and inflation. Our progress to build more housing extends beyond just policy changes and cutting red tape. Through our city's economic development department, we've invested $90 million in former redevelopment funds to help affordable housing projects get across the finish line through our innovative Bridge to Home program. And this has resulted in nearly 2,000 new affordable apartments across our city, from Rancho Bernardo to San Ysidro. And through the state of California's Home Key program, last year we partnered with the San Diego Housing Commission to convert an extended stay hotel into 160 homes for people experiencing homelessness. Today, our Home Key portfolio now includes 6 projects with over 600 homes. With all of this, My attention this year will turn to new housing opportunities for our city's working and middle class, for families with children, as well as those looking to potentially downsize. In the coming months, I intend to announce a new program to incentivize the construction of new starter homes like row homes, townhomes, and condos, homes that can bring first-time home ownership opportunities for San Diegans to create generational wealth for themselves and for their children. Now, this multi-departmental, all-hands-on-deck approach to our housing crisis that I just described is one example of this dedication to improving the lives of San Diegans that I see every day coming from our city workforce. And the city of San Diego can do hard things. And in 2025, we are going to add conquering our structural budget deficit once and for all to our list of accomplishments. Having taken office as a city council member at the start of the Great Recession, I know a thing or two about balancing budgets during tough times. However, this time, we cannot seek one-time measures that will only serve to prolong our pain for several years to come. It is my expectation that we handle this structural deficit this year. No gimmicks, no Hail Mary passes, no cavalry is coming to save us. We cannot wait yet for another revenue measure that might fail, and we certainly can't count on assistance from the federal government, which under the incoming administration is far more likely to burden us than to help us. Steep cuts will be necessary. But I also want to be clear that I'm not interested in just slashing our way to a balanced budget. Instead, we will reimagine how we operate, examining every service we provide and how we can make the most of the public assets that we have. We need to ask fundamental questions in the weeks and months ahead. Why are we doing it this way? And is there a better way? For example, why does the city prohibit street paving in coastal areas during the summer months? Could we change that and save both time and money? Why do we pay for landlines for city workers that few of us actually still use? Why do city employees who work a hybrid schedule still need their own office or cubicle? Why does the city have both a personnel department and a human resources department? We have corporate partnerships that have delivered well for us, like our deal with Toyota to provide lifeguard vehicles, saving taxpayers almost $4 million. Why not do more partnerships like this? Again, a reminder that we can no longer do things a certain way simply because that's the way that it's always been done. And we're going to have to capitalize much more on our existing assets and do more to recover full costs to taxpayers. City facilities, streets, parking lots, and lands have great value that we've discounted or given away for free. And it's time to reconsider all of this to ensure that we can continue to deliver the most critical services. And we're going to seek to shift some of the burdens that do not belong on the backs of city taxpayers. And that's especially true when it comes to homelessness. I've said it before, and it remains true. Addressing homelessness is not solely the responsibility of the city of San Diego. The city of San Diego cannot continue to shoulder the response to this region's homelessness crisis alone. Over the past 4 years, we have done the work to build up a homeless response ecosystem to get people off the streets, connected to care, and on a path to housing. Our city-funded outreach, shelter, and family unification programs have served more than 25,000 people and successfully placed nearly 4,700 of them into housing. Along with these efforts comes the imperative to enforce our laws against unsafe and unsanitary encampments. In San Diego, we took a stand that we will not accept encampments that block sidewalks, forcing children to walk in the street just to get to school, and making it harder for customers to patronize businesses that employ our people and power our economy. Our unsafe camping ordinance is successfully reducing encampments in heavily impacted areas without widespread arrests. Put simply, it is working. Implementing our comprehensive shelter strategy to reduce homelessness is my administration's #1 priority, and it will continue to be this year. And we will, now hear me on this, We will, even with our difficult financial picture, we will increase options for people to get off the streets this year. We will open a new safe parking site at H Barracks, as well as other new shelter facilities. Because there are people who are still suffering out on our streets and sidewalks and canyons each and every night, and they need our help. So whether you're a community member or a member of this city council, understand that we are going to do more. We must do more, and I welcome your partnership to reduce homelessness, not your opposition. But the responsibility is not ours alone. Homelessness is a national crisis, up 18% nationwide, and it is present in every corner of our region. And for every city in our region, from San Marcos to Imperial Beach, they need to step it up. Because they too have vacant buildings that can be converted into shelters. They too have underused parking lots that can accommodate a safe parking program. They too have land where they can create a safe sleeping program. And they too can choose to build more housing. It's long past time for all cities in this county to do their part and not simply rely on you, the taxpayers of this city, to continue to foot the bill. It's also long past time for the County of San Diego to fulfill its responsibility on addressing homelessness in our region. Mental health and addiction are often at the core of homelessness. And behavioral health, mental health, and treatment for substance use disorders are all services that are supposed to be provided by county government. The City of San Diego does not have a Health and Human Services Agency, but the county does. They are the government entity vested with the responsibility and the funding for mental health. I live and work in downtown San Diego. Every single day, I see the serious mental illness that acts like a gravitational pull that keeps people on our streets. And the city has done everything we can within our limited authority to help on this issue. We took a leading role lobbying the state of California to pass care court and conservatorship reform. We did our part to prepare the region to receive new state-funded mental health and detox beds by amending our land use code to make it easier to permit treatment facilities. And now it's time for the county to step up and deliver the behavioral health treatment for which they receive millions of dollars to get the very sick people living on the streets the care that they need. Over a year ago, the county board voted to delay implementation of the state law that makes it easier for people suffering from severe mental illness to access life-saving care. And it did little in this one-year delay to prepare for its implementation. And it has yet to take meaningful steps to address the very real shortage of behavioral health care beds. And when they fail to live up to their obligations, we are all left to pick up the pieces and pay the bills. It strains our police department, our paramedics, our hospitals, and makes all of us feel more unsafe. We cannot afford to absorb the impact of this inaction any longer. Enough is enough. My fellow San Diegans, it is my hope that anytime you see a person on the street suffering from extreme mental illness or addiction, that you think of the County of San Diego and ask, when will they step up to provide the services they need to end this crisis once and for all? There's another entity that also needs to follow through on their role to address the homeless crisis. Like you, I use our freeways every day and see the growing number of tents and garbage along on-ramps and underpasses. And like you, I find this to be absolutely unacceptable. It is dangerous for people living in these encampments. It distracts drivers and it increases the risk of fires that our residents already know all too well. The City of San Diego over the last year has received on average 300 complaints per month about people experiencing homelessness and severe tent encampments on state property. Complaints that we refer to Caltrans because legally the City of San Diego cannot go onto state property to clear encampments. But the situation is dire and we need help. So if the state can't or won't address these areas, they should give the city full authority to do this work and then fully reimburse us for the cost of doing that work. We are ready to partner to do this work, but we need action now. And my friends, I'm so passionate about this because it affects the bottom line of our city. Every dollar the city spends in responding to the lack of action from other cities, the county, or the state are dollars not being spent fixing your roads, upgrading our stormwater systems, or supporting public safety. Now, even as we face these frustrations and these challenges, I want to take a moment to reflect on what history has taught us. Now, some of you may know I'm a bit of a history student myself. I was that kid that would watch C-SPAN rather than Saturday morning cartoons, who majored in history at the University of San Diego. And what I know is that history shows us that in times of great adversity, there is also great opportunity. I'm reminded that in the 1990s, our region faced an economic crisis with the contraction of the defense and aerospace industries, the backbone of our economy at that time, leading to widespread job losses and threatening our city's future. But unlike so many other once thriving American cities that were pulled under by a struggling industry, San Diego chose a different path. We redeployed our resources, our talent, innovation, and expertise, and transformed our economy into one that was more diverse, more sustainable, and more resilient. That wasn't by accident. It was by design. It was by action. We leveraged our world-class universities to become a global leader in life sciences, wireless technology, clean tech, and other innovation industries. Now, I see a similar opportunity for us ahead, to turn this moment of great adversity into an opportunity to build a better city for all of us. I'm also reminded of my own story. Growing up here as a native San Diegan in a family that was not well off, but always found a way to scrape together just enough to keep moving forward. Who worked hard to improve our circumstances and allowed this nerdy brown gay kid from Claremont the opportunity to earn the honor to sit in this room as a city council member, as council president, as budget committee chair, and now as your mayor. And that's why I refuse to be pessimistic about our future. We are a city of innovators, of dreamers, and of doers. San Diego's story has always been one of resilience, determination, and reinvention. So this is not the time for retreat. This is not the time for us to slow down. It's time for us to double down. And as your mayor, I will use every day of the next 4 years to double down on the priorities that I know matter the most to you and have been the pillars of my administration. Keep you safe, reduce homelessness, build more housing, and fix the damn roads and storm channels. San Diego, I'm here to tell you that no matter what, no matter the obstacles ahead, we are moving forward. Forward with courage and vision, forward to our challenges, turning our challenges into opportunity, forward to build on our progress, forward to be stronger, more resilient, and more responsive to you. This is our moment to rise, to lead, and to show that even in the face of great difficulty, our great city will always move forward. Thank you, San Diego. May God bless you. May God bless our great city.